Which one is it? Well, if you're smart, you'll make the right choice because you'll know the answer. Sounds simple enough, but what do you mean by know? I know my brother, I know the state capitals, and I know that stealing is wrong. Personal, moral, and factual knowledge, and they're all connected. Sounds basic enough, but wait a minute. Does that mean that stealing will cause me to forget the state capitals? Well, basically, yeah, that's what I'm trying to say here. But I'd phrase it differently. I'd say that choices are connected with your ability to reason, which sounds obvious in one way, which isn't very interesting. So we'll say it first that staying up all night eating junk food and playing video games before a test, well, if you wanted a better score, you could study and then get some sleep. That's true. I think you'd agree that's true, but it's kind of basic, not really what we're talking about or what they are talking about when they say affirmation and negation in the intellect correspond to search and avoidance in the appetite, while truth and falsehood in the intellect correspond to good and evil in the appetite. It's more than an analogy, it's a connection. The second operation of the intellect is its act of combining or dividing judgment. Factual knowledge, in other words, is a kind of choosing. That's the symmetry that I was aiming at with this chart, and with this fix, I think we've got it. And that's why, quote, knowing your brother is different from knowing factual information in almost every language except for English. Other languages, so I've been told, that have the same word for familiar knowledge and factual knowledge include Russian and Japanese. But in any language, a good test is a full brain workout, choosing the right answer after understanding the options, if they're good or bad, the entire situation, what it means. And that means making another distinction, another choice, all with the goal of seeing things more as they really are, making better choices, and moving from truth to truth. As a mathematician is led to a discovery, or a political leader is led to act, or an artist to create. That is why the only way to be an evil genius is not to be evil. A mind that settles on bad choices is badly disposed to settle on true facts, because bad choices are a cause, not just a result of bad thinking. In order to ace that test on state capitals, I would not suggest stealing things. Aristotle considers a person who operates under an axiom. Pleasure is to be pursued, okay? And then he sees an apple. Apples are sweet. Sweet things are pleasant. Sweet things ought to be tasted. But he also knows that stealing is wrong. See what happens? There's a conflict here. He's unable to make a decision, but it doesn't have to be like that. Reason is able to direct the acts of the lower powers. It does much more than that, though. It's also a director of its own act. And that's what makes man unique. It's his or her intellect's ability to reflect upon itself. Plants take in whatever they can to maintain themselves. Animals sense and respond to their environment based on instincts and conditioning. Humans also see and hear, but our senses are oriented towards deliberation, self-regulation, contemplation, even creation, or recreating the entire world, which is what Aristotle says happens in the possible intellect. And we've already mentioned mathematical discoveries. Man can do the right thing, and not only for the right reason, but also in the right way, prudently serving the common good. And we can recognize not only patterns, but meanings, interconnected categories that are every bit as real, maybe even more real than sense data. Integral human development, or, in a different view, using technology to better predict and control consequences. Free, allegedly, to divorce means from ends in the pursuit of progress, human progress, which, in this view, makes the evil genius kind of possible, but also maybe good, maybe even necessary. Let him loose. Make it new. That's the modernist's creed. And we recall how standpoint theory, or whatever name you want to give it, insisted on reestablishing that link between epistemology and ontology. This sometimes, however, was done through sacrificing their connection to truth and beauty. Back to our question, what is the answer? None of the above. We need better, more useful answers. Your job now is to think like that evil genius to seize control. Oh, nonsense! Our job is different. It is to unwind the logic of the exam itself, because it's the exam that is the evil genius we need to defeat. Or perhaps your best bet is not to seize control of the world or of the test, but of yourself, forming a habit, a second nature that spontaneously responds to truth, beauty, and to goodness. Because if bad choices can lead to bad thinking, then good choices, good disciplined habits can lead to good thinking, and that might not allow you to take over the world, but it might allow you to take control of something that the ancients said was even harder to conquer.